Today, we explore the timeless wisdom of the Gita Mahatmya through an AI-generated podcast discussion. Join us as two voices uncover inspiring stories, profound spiritual insights, and the transformative power of sacred words. Sit back, listen with an open mind, and begin your journey into the glory of the Bhagavad Gita.
Imagine a greedy, highly sinful king dies.
Yeah.
Right. And he is reincarnated as a date palm tree.
A literal tree?
Yeah, exactly. A tree. So decades pass. He's literally rooted to the spot, doing this miserable sentence as a piece of flora.
Right.
Then one day, two ghosts just happen to sit under his branches. And they're having this completely unrelated argument about how to escape their own ghostly curse.
As ghosts do, you know.
As they do. And one of them just accidentally mutters 3 syllables of an ancient text. He just says, Kim Tat Brahma.
Wow. Just 3 syllables.
Just 3. And instantly the tree shatters, the bark explodes, and the former king steps out as this glowing divine being, completely freed from his punishment.
That is just wild.
It really is. So welcome to another deep dive. I'm your host, and today we are immersing you in a world where words don't just, communicate ideas. They rewrite reality itself.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm the resident expert here, and today we are looking at a really fascinating text called the Gita Mahatmya.
Which is from the ancient Padma Purana.
Right. Exactly. It's framed as this cosmic conversation where Lord Shiva is explaining to his wife Parvati the absolute unbelievable glories of the 18 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
And our mission for you today is to really understand how this specific tradition views the Gita, because they absolutely do not treat it as just some profound book of philosophy that you read and ponder.
Not at all. It's not a self-help book.
Right. They treat it as a literal superpower. It's a living vibration where the syllables possess the sheer agency to revive the dead, tame rampaging beasts, and even overrule the gods. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Because to even begin to grasp stories like that shattering tree, we first have to understand the physical the metaphysical embodiment of the text itself.
Right, the anatomy of it.
Exactly. In these accounts, Lord Vishnu explains to the goddess Lakshmi that the Bhagavad Gita is his actual physical body.
Which is such a startling image for you to visualize as a listener. He literally maps out the chapters anatomically.
How does that breakdown work again?
So the first 5 chapters of the book are his 5 heads. The next 10 chapters are his 10 arms.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and then chapter 16 is his stomach, and the final 2 chapters are his lotus feet. It's this direct assertion that the text is quite literally divine in its composition.
So you aren't holding a book?
No, you are holding the deity.
And because it's literally the body of the divine, the text operates on this crazy principle of fractions.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if the entire book is immensely powerful, then even a tiny fragment of it, like a single verse, a shloka, or even just half a shloka, contains that exact same absolute power.
Oh, I see.
It reminds me of a perfectly compressed file, or like a cosmic hologram, where even one microscopic pixel contains the entire high-resolution image.
What's fascinating here is that holographic nature means human intent is completely removed from the equation.
Right, which is highly unusual.
Super unusual. In most spiritual traditions, purification requires profound intent. You need focus, devotion, maybe decades of austere meditation. Here, the sound vibration and the syllables of the Gita are the active purifying agents. They work almost like a physical law.
And we see that mechanical exactness in the story of chapter 15. So King Narasingha buys this magnificent, incredibly expensive prize horse.
A huge investment.
Huge. He takes it hunting, gets separated from his group, ties the horse to a tree, and sits down to rest.
Okay.
And then a stray piece of parchment blows in the wind and lands next to him. Just a piece of trash on the breeze, basically.
But it's not trash.
No. Written on it is just half a verse from chapter 15. So the king reads it out loud, and instantly the prize horse drops dead.
Wait, it just dies?
It drops dead, transforms into a 4-armed divine being, and ascends straight to heaven, to Vaikuntha, in a flower airplane.
That is incredible.
And it turns out the horse used to be a greedy commander-in-chief in a past life.
See, that perfectly illustrates the spiritual physics we're talking about. The text is fundamentally redefining how salvation works.
Because the king wasn't trying to do a ritual.
Exactly. He had zero intention of liberating his expensive horse. And the horse certainly wasn't meditating.
Right, it was just standing there.
The Gita Mahatmya presents this as a direct equation. If A happens, meaning the specific sound frequency of the verse hits the ear, then B inevitably follows, which is total liberation.
It is entirely independent of the reader's or the listener's conscious state.
Completely independent.
So if a stray piece of parchment or a ghost's accidental muttering under a palm tree is enough to trigger a localized miracle.
Yeah, what happens when people intentionally recite whole chapters?
Exactly. The scale of the power must go completely off the charts.
It does. It scales up to cause what you could only really describe as cosmic jailbreaks.
Cosmic jailbreaks. Okay, I love that phrase. Let's look at the story of chapter 3.
The one with Jada.
Yes, Jada. So there's this man named Jada who lives a terrible life and becomes a ghost. His son decides to help him out and intentionally recites chapter 3.
Which is already a big deal.
Right. And not only does Jada get rescued, but the son realizes the power of this and decides to just keep reciting it.
He just keeps going.
He keeps going. And this persistence creates an absolute administrative nightmare in the afterlife.
I can imagine.
Lord Vishnu actually has to send his messengers to Yamaraja, who is the god of death and the ultimate administrator of karma.
The big boss of the underworld.
Exactly. And Vishnu orders Yamaraja to empty out all the conditioned souls suffering in hell right then and there.
All of them.
All of them. And Yamaraja complies. He releases everyone.
So what does this all mean?
Well, yeah, that's my question for you. What does this mean for the concept of karma? We're always taught that karma is this rigid, inescapable ledger, right? You do bad, you suffer. You do good, you prosper.
This raises an important question for you, the listener, as you process the sheer scale of that story.
Because it seems like it breaks the rules.
It seems to render the entire concept of karma completely irrelevant. But the Gita Mahatmya is actually establishing a hierarchy of cosmic laws here.
A hierarchy.
Yeah, so karma is essentially the mechanical software running the simulation of the universe. It is real, and it is rigid.
Right, it's the base code.
Exactly. But divine grace, which you access directly through the Gita, is presented as a higher law.
So it's like having root access to the universe's source code. You bypass the software entirely and rewrite the operating system.
That is the perfect way to look at it. The system of cause and effect is the standard operating procedure. But the Gita is the developer's backdoor.
I love that. It's a backdoor.
It is the absolute frequency of the unconditioned absolute.
And we see exactly how deep that unconditioned absolute goes in the story of chapter 7.
Oh, the snake ghost story.
Yes. So there's a guy named Shankukarna. He is a massive miser who hoards his wealth, buries it in the ground, and basically dies obsessing over it.
Which is a classic karmic trap.
Totally. Naturally, the mechanical law of karma dictates that his obsession traps him. So he reincarnates as this frightful, giant snake ghost whose only existence is to guard that buried treasure.
He's just miserable, trapped in this endless loop of greed.
But his son discovers the situation and arranges for a daily recitation of chapter 7. And notice, the snake ghost doesn't do the work.
Right, he can't. He's a snake.
The son does it on his behalf using that root access code we talked about. The vibration shatters the karmic loop, the snake body dissolves, and Shankukarna is instantly liberated.
The focus on wealth and attachment in that story is really crucial. The text is demonstrating that the sound vibration cuts through the thickest psychological blockades humans can possibly create for themselves.
But I gotta stop you there, because the mechanism gets really weird in the chapter 5 story.
Oh boy, the skull puddle.
The skull puddle. So there's this deeply sinful couple, Pingala and Aruna. They murder, they cheat, they end up in hell, and then they reincarnate as a vulture and a female parrot.
Not exactly a step up.
No, and they end up fighting each other and actually drown in a puddle of water.
A very specific puddle.
Yes, the puddle happens to be collected inside a human skull. And that skull just so happened to belong to a devotee who used to recite chapter 5 of the Gita.
Used to. Past tense.
Past tense. Just because their dead bird bodies touch the water inside the skull of a guy who used to read the chapter, they are instantly purified and sent to heaven.
It's astonishing.
I mean, how does water in a random skull carry a spiritual frequency? Is the text implying that the physical matter of a person literally absorbs the vibration of the words?
The text is implying exactly that.
Seriously?
Yes. In this world, your matter is not dead or inert. It is completely porous. If the Gita Gita is the literal body of the divine, then consistently vibrating those syllables alters the molecular structure of the person speaking them.
So the skull became like a battery.
Exactly. The skull wasn't just bone anymore. It had been transformed into a sacred vessel that held the resonant frequency of chapter 5.
Wow.
And then the water absorbed that frequency and the birds absorbed the water. It is a literal chain reaction of spiritual physics.
Which brings us to another boundary that this spiritual physics completely shatters.
The animal kingdom.
Yes. Because the rigid system of karma doesn't just trap souls in hell or bind them as ghosts guarding treasure. It traps them in animal bodies.
Right.
And here's where it gets really interesting. In almost every single story, the boundary between human and animal is completely porous.
The transition between human intellect and animal instinct is definitely a huge recurring motif here.
I have to push back a little bit here, though, because some of these stories sound like, well, an ancient cartoon.
Fair enough. Like which ones?
Like in chapter 9. A goat is about to be sacrificed in a ritual, and it suddenly starts laughing and talking to the priest.
Right.
It's pointing out the absolute absurdity of the ritual. Or in chapter 14, where a rabbit and a hunting dog happen to slip in a patch of mud.
The foot wash mud.
Yeah, because that mud was wet from the foot wash water of someone reciting chapter 14. The rabbit and the dog instantly shoot up to heaven in a flower airplane,
Yeah.
right in front of the king.
It's a very vivid image.
It's bizarre. How is the listener supposed to take this seriously?
Yeah.
What is the actual point of all these bizarre animal liberations?
To modern ears, it definitely does sound highly stylized, almost comedic.
Very comedic.
But these stories are vivid, intentional allegories for the crumbling of the human ego.
How so?
Look at why the goat is laughing. The goat reveals it used to be a priest who performed animal sacrifices for power and prestige.
Oh, I see.
And it was cursed to become the very thing it exploited.
And that theme repeats, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In chapter 1, a parrot recites the text and purifies a bull. But we find out the parrot used to be a wildly proud Brahmana.
Exactly, a highly educated, arrogant priest.
So the Gita Mahatmya is weaving this profound social critique into the narrative.
It really is. It is deeply critical of elites who hold high social status, like the Brahmanas, but who perform empty rituals for money or out of pure arrogance without any genuine understanding.
That makes sense.
The animal reincarnations represent the ultimate humbling. The text is proving to you that intense academic learning or high birth is a complete trap if it lacks purity.
So a parrot that recites the Gita is vastly superior to a human priest who just performs mechanical rituals for cash.
Absolutely. It strips away the illusion of human superiority completely.
It really levels the playing field.
It asserts that the only metric of actual value is resonance with that spiritual frequency. Everything else, like social class, wealth, even human intellect, is secondary.
You see the contrast between raw physical power and quiet spiritual vibration perfectly in chapter 16, actually.
The elephant story.
Yeah. There's this massive, mad elephant trampling a city, just destroying everything in its path.
Complete chaos.
And a Brahmana just walks up to it and silently chants the first 3 shlokas of chapter 16.
Which start with the word apayam, meaning fearlessness.
Right. And the rampaging elephant instantly drops its aggression and becomes peaceful like a little puppy. It's the ultimate leveler.
And if you find the text humbling proud priests and calming mad elephants radical, consider what it does to the administrative gods of the universe.
Oh, yes. Because if the Gita humbles human ego, it absolutely obliterates divine ego. Especially Lord Indra, the king of heaven.
Indra gets a really rough time in these stories.
He does. Let's take a quick breather to explain who Indra actually is in this context. Because to a lot of listeners, King of Heaven sounds like the ultimate untouchable authority.
Right, it sounds like God with a capital G.
But in these stories, Indra is essentially portrayed as an insecure middle manager who is terrified of losing his corner office.
That is a brutally accurate way to put it.
That's true.
The Vedic cosmology is vast and highly bureaucratic. Indra is not the supreme unconditioned absolute, that is Vishnu.
Right.
Indra is a position, a title. It's earned through immense karmic merit, specifically by performing 100 complex horse sacrifices.
So he did a lot of work to get there.
He did, and he controls the rain, the weather, the heavenly realms, but he's still bound by the mechanics of the universe. He still feels anxiety, jealousy, and the constant threat of replacement.
And he is constantly threatened by anyone accumulating spiritual power on Earth.
Paranoia is his defining trait.
Like in chapter 4, there's a sage performing intense meditations on Earth. Indra gets so paranoid that this mortal is going to steal his heavenly throne that he sends heavenly nymphs apsaras to act as assassins.
Spiritual assassins, basically.
Right, to seduce and ruin the sage's focus. But the sage simply curses them to become trees.
Just swats them away.
Exactly. Then in chapter 12, a prince is trying to perform a massive horse sacrifice to honor his dead father, and who sneaks in and steals the horse in the middle of the night.
Lord Indra.
Lord Indra, the king of heaven, is out here literally sabotaging a mortal's religious duty out of sheer paranoia.
Because Indra represents the pinnacle of ritualistic power. He relies entirely on the mechanical software of the universe to maintain his status.
So he hates hackers.
He fears anyone who might hack the system, exactly.
Which is exactly what happens. In that chapter 12 story, the prince goes to a devotee named Sita Samadhi, who recites the 12th chapter of the Gita daily.
The root access user.
Yep. This guy doesn't even blink at the fact that the king of heaven stole the horse.
Yep.
He just casually summons all the demigods and commands them to bring the stolen horse back from Indra.
And they just do it.
They obey instantly.
Yeah.
Then, as an encore, Sita Samadhi takes some water, sprinkles it on the prince's dead father, who had been preserved in a vat of boiling oil, by the way, and just resurrects him.
Just casual resurrection.
It's like bypassing the cosmic bureaucracy completely.
The devotee who holds the frequency of the Gita effortlessly overrides the king of the gods, because the absolute always outranks the administrative.
But the ultimate coup happens in chapter 18.
Oh, this one is brutal for Indra.
It really is. Indra is sitting on his throne, enjoying his heavenly kingdom, when suddenly a random mortal shows up.
Just some guy.
Just some guy. This mortal has never performed 100 horse sacrifices. He never dug wells for charity, never did the grueling rituals you're supposedly required to do to earn heaven.
None of the standard prerequisites.
Yeah, none of them. Yet, the servants of Lord Vishnu carry him in, and the demigods literally take the crown off Indra's head and place it on this newcomer.
Imagine the sheer shock to Indra's worldview in that moment.
He must have been reeling.
The mechanics of karma he relied upon his entire existence are completely dismantled right in front of his eyes.
Indra is devastated. He runs to Lord Vishnu and basically says, "What is going on? I did the work. I follow the rules."
And Vishnu's response is amazing.
Vishnu simply tells him that the newcomer recited 5 slokas of chapter 18 every single day. 5 verses.
That's it.
That's it. And because of that, Indra, the CEO of the universe, is forced to disguise himself, travel down to Earth as a humble student, and find a Brahmana to teach him the 18th chapter.
All just so he can earn a higher spot in the spiritual world himself.
It's incredible.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the Gita Mahatmya is making its final, most definitive argument to you.
Which is?
It is stating that the ultimate power in this universe isn't political, and it isn't ritualistic.
It's not about being the CEO.
Exactly. The gods who control the skies are just bureaucrats operating within a temporary system. True. Ultimate power is pure spiritual knowledge.
So it outranks everything.
By identifying the Gita as the literal body of the Supreme, the text offers a direct line to the Absolute. It bypasses the entire ladder of cosmic administration. You don't need to appease Indra if you hold the very fabric of reality in your hands through these verses.
It really is a complete reframing of what a text can be. So to bring this all together, the Gita Mahatmya isn't just offering a glowing review of a book.
Not at all.
It's presenting the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as an active living force, a physical manifestation of the divine that reshapes reality, purifies by mere contact, shatters karmic loops, and reigns supreme over death and the gods themselves.
And you know, these stories, as bizarre and vivid as they are, they really challenge us to reconsider the profound weight of the things we expose ourselves to.
How do you mean?
Well, think about our modern world. We consume millions of words daily. We scroll through feeds, we listen to podcasts, we read articles.
Constantly absorbing information.
Constantly. And we operate under the assumption that those words only mean what we consciously interpret them to mean. We think we are in complete control of the intellectual exchange.
Right, like we're just parsing data.
Exactly. But what if this ancient worldview holds a kernel of psychological or even metaphysical truth? What if the media, the words, and the sound vibrations we immerse ourselves in carry an inherent power that shapes our reality?
Completely independent of our conscious intent.
Yes. If a single verse of ancient Sanskrit could free a soul simply by being carried on the wind, based on this ancient worldview, what modern scriptures are you absorbing every day?
Wow.
And how are those frequencies secretly altering the landscape of your life without you even realizing it?
That is definitely something to think about next time you pop your headphones in or open up a new tab.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, a book might just be paper and ink, or it might just be the override code of the universe. See you later.
Welcome to Puran Films. Today, we explore the time